2nd, 2021 meeting of the Planning Board. Before we begin the meeting, I have a notice to read. An advisory from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health has been issued for all non-vaccinated and full vaccinated people to wear a mask in public, indoor settings in areas of substantial or high transmission. Shrewsbury, Worcester County has been categorized as a high level of community transmission for over a month. Therefore, we require that all employees and visitors in all municipal buildings wear a face mask. Exemptions from the mask requirement include those with a medical or other eligible condition. In addition, we ask all those attending the meeting to practice social distancing, leaving space between yourself and other non-related parties also attending the meeting. The board members here tonight will also be masked and practicing social distancing through their seating arrangements. When speaking, we do ask that your face mask remains on. Thank you. Okay, our first item of business is to review and approve minutes. We have minutes from Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Anybody had any questions?
I wasn't here, so I can't.
Okay, any questions or comments relative to the minutes?
No questions.
Okay, I have no questions or comments either, so I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes from November 4th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have review and sign bills. I have bills here from Graves Engineering for 34 to 36 Harrington Avenue, site plan review and soil test witness report for $2,131.60. And another one from Graves Engineering for 15 Fortune Boulevard, site plan review for $1,024.25, totaling $3,155.85. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pass those along.
Thank you.
Okay, while that's going around, we have board member comments. Mr. O'Leary, you have any?
No comment, sir.
Mr. Rotalakis?
No comments this month, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Thomas?
No comment.
I have no comments. Mr. Cahill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure, did I miss it at the beginning? Did you mention that Tim and...
Oh, no, I did not. This evening, we are missing two members, Mr. Tim Jerry and Mr. Perna Rao.
It was kind of last minute, and Mr. Eliotti will be standing in for them for the special permits. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I wanted to just make a quick announcement. This Saturday in 2 days, December 4th, is, as you can see on the screen, the annual Yuletide Market and Light the Common, put on by the Shrewsbury Town Center Association. So if you want to be there for the Light the Common, it starts at 4:45, and the Yuletide Market runs from 5 to 8 p.m. There's lots of parking. You can park over at the old Beale School all around it, and walk on over to the Common if you'd like. It's a lot of fun. It was done 2 years ago. We're back after COVID. So we're hoping lots of you can stop in, at least for a little while, and check it out. It's a good time, and lots of vendors there. The other announcement is, speaking of the old Beale School, the RFP respondent to the old Beale School redevelopment is going to be, Civico Development is going to be presenting next Tuesday, December 7th, at 7 p.m. right here in this room, in the Selectmen's Room. So we are asking anyone interested in that project to come and take a look at their conceptual plans. You can see we have a video online on the Facebook page, Twitter feed, everything else you can possibly find for social media. And so please take a look and also come by, or at least watch that, and find out what's being proposed for the old Beale School. So thank you. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cahill. Our first item of business is the new public hearing. Mr. Thomas, would you please read the public notice?
The Shrewsbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday evening, December 2nd, 2021, at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's Hearing Room at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, to hear the application of Marshall A. Gould, Esquire, Gould Inn, Edinburgh, PC, 370 Main Street, Suite 1050, Worcester, Mass. 01608, as required by the Town of Shrewsbury zoning bylaw, Section 8B 8A5, 7B 885, excuse me, for a special permit to create a new rear lot that abuts two existing rear lots, and thereby creating more than two abutting rear lots. Proposed development is shown on plans entitled Plan of Lot Land 7, Plan of Land Lot 7, dated July 26, 2021, on one sheet prepared by WDA Design Group, 31 East Main Street, Westboro, Mass. 01581, stamped by Kenneth T. Strom, PLS. The subject property is located southerly of Gulf Street and easterly of Cypress Avenue and consists in whole or in part of Shrewsbury Assessor's Tax Plate 09, Plot 001000. A copy of the application and plans may be seen in the office of the Planning and Economic Development Department at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, Shrewsbury, Mass., and on the Planning Board website.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I did do this a little bit out of order. I should have actually announced what the project was for, so I'll do that now.
Thank you.
This is a new public hearing for the creation of new rear lot adjacent to two existing rear lots, special permit for location 255 Gulf Street, Lot 7. Is the applicant present?
Thank you,
Please introduce
gentlemen.
yourself.
I'm Marshall Gould. I'm actually the attorney for the owners, but one is in New Hampshire, one's in Swansea, and is in the hospital, so I'm listed as applicant under power of attorney, and I'm here. And I actually had eye surgery today. Do you mind if I sit while I do
You
the
do
presentation?
whatever you feel comfortable.
Thank you very much. One minor correction, I couldn't tell, because of the masks, whether the section that was referred to for this was section 7B 8A5 or 9A5. I noticed after it was published that I believe it said 8A5, but the bylaw actually is 9A5. But they're right next to each other. And this is a bylaw, a section of the bylaw that was passed in 2017, and it's entitled Rear Lots. And in my conversation with your town planner, apparently this is the third time this has come before the board. So just as quick background, my clients are brother and sister. They acquired the property from their parents, and they have sold some front lots, and there were two other lots that were considered rear lots by definition. One of those lots was created before this section of the bylaw was put in, so we weren't sure whether it applied or not, but when we spoke to both Patty and Bernie, we said, let's apply anyway and we'll remove all doubt. So this is just a one single-family house lot. There's no house on it right now. And in my application, I put in the plan that you see. I guess you see it on the screen in front of you. And with that was also submitted with the application, the building envelope of where it could be. There's not going to be a lot of traffic created by this rear lot. It's just going to be one single-family house lot. And we are complying with the bylaw to bring it to the attention of the planning board and request a special permit. We are also requesting a waiver of the $500 technical review fee because of the fact that it's just one single-family lot. And in talking with Bernie, you know, he said, apply for it and see how the board reacts. But he said he wouldn't recommend a technical review fee for one lot. So that's the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm pleased to answer.
Thank you. Any questions? Mr. Rotalakis?
No, so there's no intention that you or your clients, Marshall, or the abutters are gonna construct a common driveway? You're not coming back on that?
No, this is going to be a single driveway for this lot.
Okay, so that lot, that other retreat lot, there's already an existing driveway or structure on that?
Both, if I'm hearing you correctly, Steve, both lots, side by side to this,
Yes,
both have their own driveways.
and structures, they're already up. This is,
I'm sorry.
and structures, homes, there's existing homes?
Correct.
Okay,
All single-family
okay.
homes here.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't coming back.
No, this is it.
Thank you, Mr. Rotalakis. Mr. Thomas?
My other question is, did you need an answer on what section that was from? Were you asking, or did you?
No, I know that it's B9, I'm sorry, Section 7B 9A5 is the correct, I actually have a copy of it in front of me.
Okay, yeah, we have it on our legal notice as 7B8A5.
Correct, but it's the paragraph directly above that talks about the direction of side lot lines. And the reason this is required, by the way, is we did a land swap with the neighbor because when this property was created into those lots, they had the 50-foot strips, but according to another bylaw change, both paragraph 8 and paragraph 9, I'm going to put it in lay terms, the 50-foot strip has to come in at almost a right angle to the street. It can't come in at a big angle. And so we actually have been working for the last year on a land swap and getting partial release of the 2 mortgages of the neighbor, and we swapped some land with him so that we had the strip to satisfy Mr. Truman that it met the engineering requirements of this bylaw. So 8 and 9 were passed together on the same night, and they sort of go hand in hand for creation of the rear lots, but we actually come under 9.
Okay. Dennis, Bernie, you're.
So, Marshall, I hate to correct you, but it is actually 7B8. I didn't put the A number. I can just show you if you want.
Well, okay, I printed this off of the, from the town's website for the bylaw, so whichever one it is, the one that's entitled rear lots,
Yeah, so it says here, number 5, a special permit from the planning board shall be required for the creation of more than 2 abutting rear lots or access strips, or the creation of any access strip longer than 300. So this isn't the 300 feet, it's the first part of that sentence. I don't know why it's not going back on.
it's the creation of the rear lots. That is section, or paragraph 5. You're correct, Bernie. But if you go,
So
here's
B,
B.
8,
Oh, it's
A.
8. Well, when I printed it off of the bylaw from the website, it came off as 9. So I'm not sure why.
I do not know why, but I have it on the decision correct.
Okay, your notice is correct, and I'm glad, I apologize. for
No,
that.
that's all right. It could have been an older
Okay.
version you found if you Googled it.
Okay,
Sometimes it happens.
I just went right to the planning board, and then
Okay,
I
we're all set.
printed the
Okay.
ZB. Thank you, and
Nope,
I'll make
right.
sure that I change my copy then, as well.
Thank you. I have no questions or comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard on this matter? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we close the public hearing on the special permit for a rear lot shown as 255 Gulf Street, Lot 7.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, in front of us, we have a draft decision,
Including one waiver.
including
The
one
technical
waiver.
review
Yeah,
fee.
the waiver to
Waive the
not
technical.
provide a technical review. I agree that for a single family, for the size property, it's definitely not required. I don't know if anybody has any other opinion about that. Does anybody have any questions or comments relative to the information inside the decision?
No, doesn't Jay have to sign this? Is there a signature line for Jay?
Not on a special permit, only site plan special permit. This is
Okay.
straight up special permit.
Okay,
So wait, you should probably vote before you sign it.
no, I get it. I just was looking at it. I move that we grant the, we grant the special permit and execute the decision entitled Decision of the Planning Board regarding application for a rear lot special permit, 255 Gulf Street, Lots 7, and grant the waiver relative to the release of the technical review fee.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think you gotta poll this, though.
Mr. Iliadi?
I move to approve.
In favor, okay.
In favor?
Mr. Thomas?
In favor.
And Mr. Boulay is in favor.
Jake, can you sign and pass it
Yep.
down?
So you're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. All right, take care. Yep.
So far apart, it's hard to reach.
Go.
Thank you.
Our next item of business is a continued public hearing for a mixed-use commercial residential development site plan approval and special permit for 34 Harrington location 3436 Harrington Avenue. Mr. Grenier, are you ready?
I'm making do side business. Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, Mr. Grenier.
On behalf of the applicant, John Grenier, J.M. Grenier Associates. Since our last hearing, we have made a few changes in response to some comments from the planning board. The largest of those changes is, as we discussed, the board was looking for some additional parking, a reduction in the unit count, and some additional space for snow storage. So with these revised plans, we believe that we have addressed all of those requests and concerns. And in doing so, we reduced the square footage of the building slightly. And by doing so, we were able to shift the location of the building a little further north, which opened up some space at the rear of the site. And we reduced the unit count from 16 units down to 14 units. And that, in the overall parking requirement, we have an additional just about 25% extra parking spaces beyond what would be required under zoning. Additionally, we have an area in the southern portion of the site which can serve two purposes. In the summertime, it gives us some quiet green space where they could put a patio and maybe some grill area. And then in the wintertime, it serves as a snow storage area. And we wouldn't be losing any parking in that snow storage area, and it's a fairly substantial area. And just to recap what we had done from the last revision, we modified it so that we have parking area behind the retail or commercial retail building, so that gives us good area for turning of emergency vehicles. And it also provides kind of a more dedicated area for parking behind the retail building. And then the balance can be associated with the residential structure. We did submit, I kind of had to hound him, but the structural engineer for the retaining wall, he was able to wrap that up and get that in. I just submitted that to the planning department yesterday.
Okay.
So we do have a design for the structural wall that does wrap along the southerly and the easterly side of the site. So we have full design plans for that, and that would be, they call them, I think, mega tandem blocks. They're the large structural blocks that they lap one on top of the other, and they're gravity blocks. So this is the same type of block, I believe, that was used on the commercial site that we did on Suntech. So it's the same type of block wall, same engineer. So we do have all of the design parameters taken care of with that, and I believe that we've addressed really all the heavy items that the board was looking for. So.
Okay. My understanding is you're still awaiting conservation decision?
Yeah, the only comment that the commission members had was that they were looking for us to install a 6-foot stockade fence, and just to kind of prohibit or deter people from dumping any snow onto the easterly side of the lot in the wetlands. And the board members had no other comments beyond that, but the conservation agent at the time wanted a little more time to review the plans. So he hasn't reached out to me to tell me that he has any issues with it. We did get a full clean bill of health with Graves Engineering, who reviewed the drainage, the layout, and all the zoning related items. So we believe that we're in good shape, but we're just waiting for that final blessing from the conservation agent.
Yeah, I think the timing will work out well. It'll give us time for Graves Engineering to review the design of the wall anyway. So I think things are kind of melding together pretty well.
Is Graves gonna do that?
Not Graves,
Well,
in-house, but yeah.
In-house, the
Yeah,
engineering review.
typically that would be part of the building.
Yeah.
The building department would review those.
Yep.
As part of the building permit application, because it is a structure technically, because it's a structural wall.
But you only just received the material, so we haven't had any time to.
I have not had time to distribute them to anyone, so.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Anything else, or you all set?
That's it.
Very good. Any questions or comments from the
No
board?
comments, Mr. Chairman.
Steve?
I think it's a good project. I thought it was good project before, but I'm glad that John addressed the board's concerns, and let's just wrap up conservation, and we can close and vote.
Very good. Mr. Thomas?
I agree with Steve. I appreciate you taking our concerns into consideration, and I definitely think the snow storage is much better and open space is better. So I have no other questions or comments right now.
All right, I appreciate it.
And I echo those comments. I appreciate you taking the response from this board and modifying the plans as such, so thank you for that. And,
All right, no, thank you.
we just get through a review process, and I believe we'll be in a position to decide at our next meeting.
Fantastic.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard? Yes, sir.
My name is Kane Fosha. I live at 2 Whitney Street, Shrewsbury. I just had a couple of questions. We have a common set of staircase that runs down the middle of the property line. I wanted to know what was going on with that. And then the elevation of this property to my property is higher. So I was wondering what you were doing with the snow, but obviously you said you were going. And I just wanted to say that whatever's going on over there, I greatly appreciate it, because I've been throwing people out of there for the last 20 years. So, I'm not kidding. But my wife said you were just gonna put back a 6-foot stockade fence. You're gonna
Yeah.
take the row of aphrodite bushes down. There's a stockade fence there already, a 6-foot stockade fence. I would like to see a raised bed with a 9-foot stockade fence, just like on the other side where Walgreens is.
Yeah, so
The
what-
old growth has been there for 45 years, 50 years, and then there's a common set of stairs that go in the corner lot right there. So I wanted to know if how they're gonna do that, because that's tied into my foundation and everything.
So what we were proposing to do is, the grade drops off as it heads
Oh, it
further
does,
south.
in the back here.
Yeah.
But over here, you're 2 or
Right.
3 feet higher.
Right, so what, we're going to, where it's close to same grade, we were gonna do a row of arborvitae's there, so it's more green. And then where the grade starts to drop, that's where we're starting to install that retaining wall, the precast block retaining wall. And then on top of that, we were gonna have a 6-foot-high, either stockade or white vinyl fence. along
I
the
need something
property.
private, though.
So-
That's-
As the grade drops off to the back, the grade goes from like 408 to 406. So we're at grade 411 with the
Yep.
parking lot. So
Yep.
then we're 5 to 8 feet
Oh,
higher.
I got it there.
And that's at the parking lot. And then we'll have a 6-foot fence on top of that.
Okay.
So that'll be like 11 to,
But what are they doing with the corner set of stairs
we have,
that runs up the middle of the property line that Andy put there with my grandfather 50, 60 years ago?
We're not having a conversation here, so just
Well,
ask the
I
questions.
just- I don't know. because
It's fine.
As soon as you're gonna disturb that, it's tied into my foundation of my house. I just need to know what's going on.
Very good, okay. John, could you just explain?
we can talk offline regarding that, making sure that everything works.
All right, but like I said, I don't mind, whatever you guys do over there is an improvement. I just,
Okay, yeah,
I
we
need to know
can
what's going on.
coordinate offline.
Would you do
so
that, please,
no
John?
issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to be heard? Okay, that being said, I want to entertain a motion to...
I move that we continue the public hearing on the 34 Harrington Avenue site plan and special permit until Thursday, January 6, 2022 at 7 PM.
Do I have a second?
Thank you very much.
Second. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay.
Yep.
Our next item of business is actually a continued public hearing for Cypress Avenue, 0 Greenbrier Drive cul-de-sac definitive subdivision. We do have a request for continuance from the applicant. Does anybody on the board have any questions or comments relative to the request for continuance?
what I do, I'm building a police station.
I move that we grant the continuance as requested by the applicant until the January 6th, 2022 meeting at 7 PM.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Our next item of business, I'm actually going to go out of order here a little bit. Going Going to open up a new public hearing. This is for a new two-story, two-family duplex, 10% FAR increase special permit for location 8 to 12 Pinedale Road. Is the applicant present? Mr. Ricker.
Mr. Boulay, I have a
Yes,
I have a legal notice
appreciate- Thank you.
for this.
Please, Mr. Thomas.
The Shrewsbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday evening, December 2nd, 2021, at 7 PM in the Selectmen's Hearing Room at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, Shrewsbury, Mass. To hear the applicant of Gold Star Builders, 6 Jake Street, Worcester, Mass. 01603, as required by the Town of Shrewsbury zoning bylaw, Section 7B10, for special permit by the Planning Board for the construction of one duplex that exceeds the maximum allowable floor area ratio by no more than 10% in the Residence B2 zoning district at 8 to 12 Pinedale Road. The proposed development is shown on plans entitled Pinedale Duplex 8-12 Pinedale Road in 11 sheets dated June 30, 2021, prepared by Level Design Group, 249 South Street, Unit 1, Plainville, Mass. 02762. Stamped by Nicola Fasandola, P.E. The subject property is located northerly of Villa Road and southerly of Pinedale Road and consists in whole or in part of Shrewsbury Assessor's Tax Plate 38, Plot 052000. A copy of the application and plans may be seen in the office of the Planning and Economic Development Department at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Ave, Shrewsbury, Mass., and on the Planning Board website.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Ricker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Richard Ricker, as you know, but for the record, and my offices are at 11 Maple Avenue. I'm an attorney representing the applicant. With me tonight is Nick Fasandola, who is with Level 1 Design, who has done the design work for this duplex, as well as John Forsolo, who's here representing Gold Star Builders on my left. This is, as you know, this is a duplex, and they have to come before you. The plan is pretty straightforward. I'm here particularly to answer any questions you may have about my letter that I submitted relative to the history of the property dating back before zoning. But other than that, I'd ask Nick to just get going. And
Well, we're not talking about the site plan this time. We're going to do this is just for the special permit.
but this is the FAR?
This is just for the 10% increase.
Okay, so
Then we're going to go back to the,
Oh, come on, can we do them?
Well,
So then let's let Nick do it then.
Steve and I had spoken prior to the meeting, and we did realize that it did make sense to probably see what the board wants about that, do with that 10% increase first.
Sure,
And then move
sure.
on to the actual site.
Sure, then maybe Nick could just explain where we're at with that.
For the record, Nick Fasandola, Level Design Group, here on behalf of the applicant, Gold Star Builders. So we have the special permit application for the floor area ratio increase of 10%. Allowed by right for duplex is a floor area ratio of 0.3. The 10% brings that up to 0.33. With this duplex and the configuration of the lot, as you can see, we have a little bit more than 15,000 square foot parcel. Our building footprint in general is about 2,760 square feet. And we have coordinated with the town planner on this item. We've made some modifications to the originally submitted building plans. This building will have a crawl space in lieu of a basement to accommodate the floor area ratio requirements. And we have recently submitted as of Monday, updated building and site plans for reducing the footprint to comply with that 0.33 requirement for the floor area ratio.
How many feet does that calculate to?
It's about 600 square feet, which we've reduced of gross floor area from the total square footage gross floor area of the building. Final building plans will be reviewed by the Office of the Building Inspector prior to any building permit being issued. These are, at this point, conceptual, but we will comply with the requirement of the floor area ratio if granted to 0.33.
very good, thank you. Is there any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Iliadi?
No, sir.
Mr. Rotalakis?
I'm all set.
No, sir.
I have no questions either. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard on this matter? It does not appear that we have, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing on the 8 through 12, Pinedale Road, special permit relative to the FAR increase.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We do have a draft decision in front of us relative to this. Does anybody have any questions or comments relative to the draft decision for this application? Thomas?
No question, sir.
Mr. Iliadi?
No question.
Mr. Rotalakis?
No questions.
Either, I'll entertain a motion.
Hold on a minute. That's the other one. Okay, I move that we grant the special permit on the terms as reflected in the decision of the planning board regarding application for special permit for the 10% relative to the FAR increases requested by the applicant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Got our 10%. Now we can go to our next public hearing, which is a continued public hearing for a new two-family duplex, site plan approval and special permit for location 8 to 12 Pinedale Road.
And I apologize for jumping the gun.
No worries.
But again, Mr. Chairman, thank you for having us. Again, Richard Ricker, representing the applicant. I just asked Nick to run you through the plan here. I'm here to answer any questions you may have relative to the historical lot here, which pre-existed zoning. Goes back as far as 1916, frankly. So with that, if Nick can take it from there.
Sure. Once again, for the record, Nick Fassandola, Level Design Group, professional engineer, and we prepared the site plans you have before you this evening. The application is for a proposed duplex located in the B2 zoning district. Duplex use is allowed by special permit in this zone. So we have a site plan approval application along with the special permit request as part of this application. Parcel is located off of Pinedale Road, which comes off of South Quinsigamon Avenue. Pinedale Road contains public utilities, but is in an unimproved state. It's a dirt gravel road. It is unpaved, and there are no sidewalks within Pinedale Road. The applicant is proposing the duplex to be positioned as shown in the center of the parcel with two separate driveways, one for each side of the duplex. Utilities will be provided by the contractor, will be connected to public utilities. Water, sewer, gas are all located within Pinedale Road, and the appropriate connections will be made to those utilities. Small stormwater management system is proposed for roof collection of the rooftop runoff. That will be infiltrated, and that's located behind the building. We're proposing two small decks, one for each side of the duplex, located in the rear of the building. Other than that, we'll entertain any questions the board has regarding the proposed development.
I would just add, if I could, Mr. Chairman, I think that the duplex is attractive, as you can see from the elevations. It is, although you can't tell from this view of the plan here, it is in keeping, I think, with the design characteristics and the size issues that you've addressed with your guidelines. And I think if you look around that neighborhood, you'd understand why.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Ricker. Mr. Iliadi, any questions or comments?
No question, sir.
Mr. Rotalakis?
I'm all set.
Mr. Thomas?
I have no questions. I think it's great design. One of the nicest ones I've seen since I've been here, and I've been here a while, so I think it looks very nice. You put some thought into it.
And I agree. I think the design is definitely one of the things that we may start to incorporate into maybe some design standards that we may bring before town meeting in the not-too-distant future. I want to applaud you for the amount of information that was given to us relative to the neighborhood with all of the heights of the structures around them and the floor area ratio, so that was very helpful. So again, I think we may incorporate some of these beautiful moves that you've done to everyone else coming forward in front of us for duplexes in the future.
They may not thank us.
But it does help quite a bit because it certainly puts a lot of things in perspective, and I think it's very helpful for everyone. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Richard's
we appreciate
title
that.
information was helpful. I reviewed the title information, too.
Very good.
ensure that there was no merger.
Right.
Very good. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard? Not seeing any hands. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing on the 8 to 12 Pinedale Road application for site plan approval and special permit.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a draft decision in front of us. Does anybody have any questions or comments relative to the draft decision?
There are no waivers, correct?
No way.
No
Nope.
waivers are requested.
I move that we, the board, execute the decision entitled of the planning board regarding the application for site plan approval and special permit 8 through 12 Pinedale Road, Gold Star Builders, Inc.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice job. Thank you.
Sign it, right? Okay, you got the decision.
Yes, sir.
Coming around.
All right.
Okay.
Site plan, you can sign it, too.
Thank you.
It's the site plan signature.
Oh, I just got to sign this one.
Just you.
Okay, while we're passing this other paperwork around, we do have our next public hearing is a new public hearing for a common driveway special permit, JEKN LLC, for location 171 to 173 and 191 South Street. Is the applicant present?
I have a legal
No,
notice.
I have, thank you, Mr.
What is with you
Thomas.
tonight?
I have another legal, I got one more after this.
Yes, I do.
Please.
The Shrewsbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday evening, December 2nd, 2021, at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's Hearing Room at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, Shrewsbury, Mass. To hear the application of JEKN LLC, 60 Edgerow Isle, Westminster, Mass. 01473, as required by the Town of Shrewsbury zoning bylaws, Section 7F3 and Section 7 subsection K, for site plan approval and special permit by the planning board for the construction of a common driveway as shown on plans entitled Common Driveway Plan for 171, 173, and 191 South Street. Dated November 10th, 2021, consisting of 8 sheets prepared by J.M. Grenier and Associates, 325 Donald Lynch Boulevard, Suite 100, Marlborough, Mass. 01752. Upon property located easterly of South Street and westerly of Ryan Road, and consists in whole or in part of Shrewsbury Assessors Tax Plate 29, Plot 064001, Tax Plate 29, Plot 064009, Tax Plate 29, Plot 064008. Copy of the application and plans may be seen in the office of the Planning and Economic Development Department at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Ave, Shrewsbury, Mass., and on the Planning Board website.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Grenier, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, John Grenier, J.M. Grenier Associates, on behalf of JEKN LLC. Peter Normandin, who is the applicant, is also with me here tonight. Just for reference, these lots are located on South Street on the north side of Route 9 and just south of Lamplighter Drive, which is across the street just to the north. These lots have been being developed over the past 10 years, Pete. It's been a long road. These are the last 2 lots to be developed are the 2 located on the rear portion of the north side of what was the original lot. We had been before the Conservation Commission a few years ago for a notice of intent for these lots, and as part of that process, a lot of the drainage infrastructure, particularly at South Street, was already installed. There is a deep pit of stone with a drop inlet which overflows into the South Street drainage system. And a lot of the site work, there's a stone-lined slope that currently gives access into the site. That work is all done. And there is an existing driveway that gives access to 191 South Street, which is located in this location just to the south of the 2 lots that aren't developed. So how this
how we came about with the common driveway, a handful of years ago, we went into the zoning board to do a common driveway. At the time, he would have needed 3 driveways to gain access in there. We discussed it at the time. We said, you know, it makes so much sense just to do a common driveway. It's the only way to go. But the politics at the time were a little bit different, I guess, than they are now. And for whatever reason, we weren't able to get permits through the zoning board to do a common driveway because we had some offsets to Lamplighter Drive. We needed a few variances. So we proceeded with that understanding over the past few years, and we had submitted plans since the stormwater bylaw is now in play over the past year or two. We had submitted for stormwater plans showing 3 driveways coming in to give access to the 3 lots. And so it was requested when we submitted for the stormwater permit, can you please come back in and request a common driveway? So we did that. Attorney Ricker filed an application with the zoning board for some variances for, like I said, offset to Lamplighter Drive, some slope-related variances for access into the site.
Length of the driveway.
And the length of the driveway, length of the common driveway, which we received those variances. So now we are before you for special permit for the common driveway itself. And in reality, the driveway is gonna be pretty much, in terms of slope, pretty much what's there right now. We are going to also embellish the drainage system. We have some intermittent areas for capturing some of the runoff, putting some detention basins in, recharging water there, and then ultimately any water that would overflow in a large storm event would still be captured by that same recharge area with an overflow into the street drainage system that exists on site along the frontage of South Street. So we submitted plans, obviously, to the planning department. That was reviewed by Graves Engineering. There were a couple of minor things. I think a couple of labels and a couple of clarifications on a few things, but we've addressed those. There was one other item regarding maintenance of the common driveway, and I spoke to Pete the other day, and they do have already recorded an agreement for maintenance of common utilities and the common driveway and whatnot, and I can provide a copy of that to the town planner for your records.
Please do,
And review that as well. So I think that it's been a long road. Ultimately, I think this is the best option for access to these lots. Having 3 driveways, I think was, you know, although you can do it by right, doesn't make sense. This provides for less pavement. If you had 3 driveways at 12 feet, you have 36 feet of pavement. In this case, we have 20 feet. So less pavement, less curb cuts, less confusion, and this should wrap up the total development for that section of South Street. So with that, if anybody has any questions or comments?
Okay. Any questions or comments? Mr. Iliadi?
No questions.
Mr. Rotalakis?
My only comment is, and you already got your A&R endorsement, so that ship has sailed. But if an A&R plan ever comes before the engineering department that looks like this, with that lot,
That's precisely why we passed the lot shape factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a couple of years ago.
yes,
And
that's
also
not an
the rear
A&R lot.
The rear
Not-
lot special permit we just dealt with before.
Yes, but, yes.
Fortunately, too late for these.
Yes, the ship has sailed. I would want
Yeah.
to see it before the engineering department endorsed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not an A, I don't even think, even without the bylaw, I don't think it's an A&R plan under the case law that stands in the Commonwealth. But hey, the ship has sailed, so I'm all set.
No questions.
I have no questions other than to agree that a single driveway going up there certainly helps with safety vehicles. If something was to happen, I can imagine going on the wrong road and wouldn't go well. So So I agree with that. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard? Yes, Mr. Ricker.
Thank you, Mr. Malloy. I would just point out that the fire department fully supported this as well. And I've been authorized by the town engineer to say that he fully supports this. So I think everybody agreed that this is the best solution to what is, bad situation with 3 driveways coming down.
I was at that hearing. Dan was quite passionate about this.
Well, as John pointed out earlier, it was a different climate.
That was the nicest way I could put it.
I went to speak in favor of Jeff Kavachian's barn, and I was there 2 hours.
Right.
All right, with that, I want to, is there, yes, sir. Please identify yourself.
And they should know the neighbors came out and supported it too.
Greetings, Chair and the members of the board. I'm actually a resident for 177 South Street, which is a property that's adjacent to this lot. I completely support the common driveway. So I second that because it helps us, because as is for security and for safety, any car that drives down here can come onto our lots.
Right.
And there's a steep slope here. My only concern, or at least I was looking for some guidance with regards to this detention basin that sits right behind my lot. And this is a steep slope. And I know there was a discussion about maintenance plan, but I couldn't find it in any of the documents. So if I can get to see those or get an evaluation how these properties plan to maintain that once the development is done. Because my only concern, if this doesn't work, all the water is going to be on these 2 properties. Because this is a steep slope, and we'll be owning all that water coming down our way. So if that can be elevated, or I'm also speaking on behalf of 173 South Street. He had to go out and get his kids vaccinated. So both of us have the same concern with regards to elevation and how does the water flows. And also there's something called emergency spillway. I really don't know what that means technically, but I'm assuming if that water flows, will it stay in the stone well, or it will just flow over?
Mr. Grenier.
Yes, and back to your concerns about cars coming down, we are proposing a guardrail.
Okay.
So a guardrail will be located along from really the bottom of the slope all the way along and right up to where you turn the bend. And we do have a small basin there. We do have a 15-foot wide earthen berm located on the downhill side. And then if that were to overtop, there is a stone-lined swale that runs along the shoulder of the driveway. So everything would go along the shoulder of the driveway and down into that, down by the street. So everything would be flowing. There's a channel, a stone-lined channel that would run along the shoulder of the driveway and bring it down towards South Street.
Okay. But if this doesn't work, right, the steepness is towards here. So how do we contain water in that direction?
Through, if this does overflow, which it's sized appropriately to handle large storms, that won't go down this way, it'll go along the shoulder of the driveway.
All right, and for the maintenance plan, do you think that is there a HOA or how they?
Yes.
Okay,
Sir, can I just ask you to repeat your name and address?
it's Kamaljit Singh Naul, it's 177 South Street.
Very good, thank you.
And so I guess that's fine, I completely support this, I know, I just bought this property a year ago, so I know the history with my previous owner, like how it goes. I'm not here to bash, but I'm just concerned that, with us living there, we shouldn't be penalized with any water coming down. Because even now with the construction going on, there was an incident where the water flowed, which was flowing onto this property, but it was coming through mine. And I got, I don't want an angry neighbor coming down my door like, hey, water's coming through your property. So that was my main concern. So one final question. For this, so I'm assuming all this water is going to be collected, through coming all from down from this line onto here and down to this lot. I see an erosion barrier. I'm assuming that's just a temporary measure?
Correct, during construction.
All right, I guess, so if you can share the maintenance contract, which will alleviate my concerns. All right, thank you.
Good, thank you, sir.
Can you just get his contact info with him, John or Richard, and just provide this gentleman with a copy of the HOA and the O&M plan?
I gave him my email the last time I met him when
Okay.
we were at the ZBA,
All right.
so I'll reaffirm that.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would just also interject and say that as part of special permit for common driveways, we actually require the maintenance plan for the entire common driveway, including drainage, to be submitted to the board.
Right.
And it's in the conditions prior to any building permits being issued.
Right.
So we will get that as well.
Very good, thank you. Is there any other questions or comments from the audience? Not seeing any. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing on the application for common driveway special permit, 171, 173, and 191 South Street.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody, so we do have a draft decision in front of us. Does anybody have any questions or comments relative to the draft decision?
No waivers, because he got the variance, right?
Yep, these
All
are
right.
the variances. Yeah.
And just, there was some plan comments, so John's got to submit a set of updated plans that,
We did receive that
Received
updated
that?
plan today and sent it to Graves as well, and it checked out.
okay,
So
fine.
it wasn't a lot.
No, it wasn't, it was just detail.
And then also the standard conditions are, as I said, prior to the issuance of building permits, we're gonna get a declaration of covenants, easements, restrictions for maintenance of the common driveway. And then we have another one about, sign being, let's see, before they get a certificate of occupancy, we get from their engineer that the, common driveway's been constructed in accordance with these plans, and then the CO can go forward. So we get all of that ahead of time. Otherwise, it's pretty standard, fare for conditions.
Very good, thank you. There's no other questions or comments relative to that. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that this board grant the special permit as requested by the applicant with the conditions as reflected, and execute the decision with the conditions as reflected in the decision entitled, Decision of the Planning Board regarding application for common driveway special permit, 171, 173, and 191 South Street.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sending this around. Our next public hearing is a new public hearing for a sales garage and seasonal distribution site plan approval for location 3 Commerce Road. Mr. Thomas, you have a legal notice?
I do. The Shrewsbury Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday evening, December 2nd, 2021, at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's Hearing Room at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, to hear the application of BTR Realty, LLC, 411 Hartford Turnpike, Shrewsbury, Mass. 01545, as required by the Town of Shrewsbury zoning bylaw, Section 7F3, site plan approval by the planning board to allow construction of an approximately 8,160 square foot office and retail building with attached garage. An approximately 1,400 square foot seasonal mobile cross-dock structure and an approximately 700 square foot mobile trailer. Parking and associated infrastructure at 3 Commerce Road. The proposed development is shown on the plans entitled Site Plan for 3 Commerce Road, consisting of 8 sheets dated November 10th, 2021, prepared by J.M. Grenier and Associates, 325 Donald Lynch Boulevard, Suite 100, Marlboro, Mass. 01752. Stamped by Todd P. Chapin, PLS, and John Grenier, PE. Subject property is located westerly of Commerce Road and northerly of Hartford Turnpike. It consists in whole or in part of Shrewsbury Assessors Tax Plate 54, Plot 007000. Copy of the application, plans, and reports may be seen in the Office of the Planning and Economic Development Department at the Richard D. Carney Municipal Office Building, 100 Maple Avenue, Shrewsbury, Mass., and on the Planning Board website.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. The applicant, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chairman Boulay. Again, for the record, my name is Richard Ricker. I'm an attorney with offices at 11 Maple Avenue, and I'm here representing the applicant, BTR Realty LLC, also Select Trucks of America. With us here tonight is Steve Georgialis, to the right there, to your left. He is the representative, the CFO of BTR Realty, the landowner, and also Mike DeLong, who is the manager, regional manager of the Select Trucks of America, who would occupy the building on the upper portion of this lot as you're looking at it. I would suggest to you that this lot has been reviewed by you administratively when we were back in September in front of the ZBA. We then had no UPS facilities or equipment on the center of this lot. Therefore, there was nothing before you to look at. However, UPS does have a seasonal operation that on a yearly basis, they come back and tell you whether or not they're going to come back, frankly. BTI did not know they were coming back until after those hearings. When the equipment started showing up, we had some discussions with the building department. At that stage, it was determined that we would come back to you with, and go back to the ZBA as well, which we've done, with a site plan which shows this 2 or 3 month seasonal use, which is, it's really what they call their Christmas package delivery facility. And they tell me at UPS that if they don't have that, then there's no Christmas for Shrewsbury. But as I say, they're out of there at the end of January, and they take their equipment with them. So I mean, I questioned, and we went back and forth. I questioned whether or not there really should be a permanent site plan out there showing this, because I don't know how long they're going to be there. But for the purposes of our discussion tonight, that you have the full site plan in front of you showing also the seasonal use. We also went back to the selectmen relative to the rear portion of this lot, which is that small portion on the lower part of the plan. Because this was a A&R, which was recently approved, which it hasn't been deeded separate yet, but because it is a separate lot by A&R, it was determined that we needed to go back to the selectmen. It was determined by building that we needed to go back to selectmen to get permission to put the Freightliner's overflow vehicles. They put some trade vehicles, some trade-in vehicles, some of their fleet vehicles. They store various vehicles on this portion of the lot. It is somewhat to the rear of this 10.96 acre lot. And frankly, if you were on the plateau of the lot, the way it has been finished some 7 years ago, you wouldn't even think it's part of the lot, but it's back there. So we went to the selectmen, and they extended the license for Freightliner for tri-state trucks to allow us to park 40 vehicles back there. So you essentially have 3 uses on this lot that we're here to talk about tonight. All of this discussion has been holding up the building of the Select Trucks building. The building permit has been held up because of these questions that have arisen as we've gone through the process. And so basically, we're here tonight hoping that we can move this process forward. We've got about $500,000 worth of steel laying on the ground out there, and we don't even have a foundation permit to get the foundation poured. So we're hoping to move forward, and I would suggest to you that we're doing everything we can to get this thing lined up correctly. With that, if John can explain the plan.
Yeah, so as Richard stated, the only construction that is proposed on site is for the construction of about a 4,000 square foot building that will be for Select Trucks. It's located on an existing pad. Again, it's about almost an 11 acre site. This is about 5 acres right here. They would be, when this site was constructed about 7 years ago, all the infrastructure was installed, the drainage was installed, everything goes to an existing detention basin that was expanded, that's located further to the north, way down here, beyond where that truck storage area is. There's a detention basin down here. The access comes off of, there's an existing driveway access off of Commerce Road, and there would just be it's 4,000 square foot footprint, 8,000 square feet total. There is a 2-story office and sales for Select Truck, and then they have a garage bay that is located
on the westerly side of the building. And that's really primarily for if you buy a tractor cab, you go to pick it up, they have it in this garage bay waiting for you,
Like a showroom.
like a showroom, all polished up, ready to go. Here's your new truck, you can drive it away.
It's not really intended for garage use.
So it's really
Right, it's not,
prepping.
it's not really, it's not Jiffy Lube. It's really just for their product. So we have all required parking spaces. There is a display area along the Route 20 side. There's also a storage and display area located in this area of the site. There's a septic system that would service the facility that's located kind of right behind where Bach Mulch and Loam is. In this area, we'll be bringing in water service off of Commerce Road. There is an existing stub off of Commerce Road. For fire protection, there will be a domestic line that will go and feed the building as well. And in terms of separation for the uses, it was suggested from town staff, right now they have orange cones, because really, this building there's nothing going on there. There's just steel sitting on the ground. So really, only people going there is UPS. They have their cross docks located right here, and a temporary trailer and a porta potty there. And again, as Richard said, that'll be gone after Christmas is over. But it was suggested that we install Jersey barriers in this location just to separate the uses, so there's no confusion when people are coming in and out of the site. So UPS can come in and stay to the right, and they will have their vehicles coming in and some of their employees coming in and out, and there will be a Jersey barrier delineation along there. And where this slope is, we are also proposing, at the limit of that, a guardrail that will traverse the westerly portion of the site all the way down past where UPS's temporary use of the site is. So that was one additional item that was requested, that we extend that all the way down. So that's shown on the revised plans as well. Engineering-wise, again, everything was done when the site was developed and built 7 years ago. All the infrastructure's in, all the drainage is in, everything's functioning, there's no issues. So really, we just got thrown actually into the full site plan review process because we didn't meet any thresholds for the select truck building, but once you throw in the trailer and the cross dock as structures, it throws you over the threshold for parking. So that threw us over the 20 parking spaces required, full site plan review, so.
And we've had considerable discussion with the building department over what consists of a structure. And we said, put it in, so.
Yeah,
So
so,
this will allow for a clean site plan
Yes.
for the future
Yep.
anyway, so this,
Yep.
it's not a bad thing. I know it's a little.
Well, we expect eventually to come back. There'll be a building there eventually, so it's good. It'll change, but
Yep.
this allows it to get clean now.
Yep.
right. So, again, this should be kind of, everybody knows exactly what's going on out there. Clean bill of health, it was reviewed by Graves Engineering, they were fine with everything. I don't think I ever saw a shorter comment letter from a reviewing engineer. They usually throw something on there
Yeah.
to say they looked at it, but that was clean as a whistle. I think this was more just to clarify administratively what's going on out there. So with that, we can answer any questions.
Okay, is there any questions or comments from the board? Mr. Rotalakis?
So, John, as shown on the site plan where the cones are, where you're gonna put the Jersey barriers, that's gonna, until you develop a use beyond the temporary use, that's gonna be the limits of the asphalt?
The limit, yes, that shows the limit. And also, there will be, obviously, it'll be paved where the access comes in.
Right.
Going down towards Commerce Road. That's all, it's all paved right now, but it's kind of with tailings and.
It's
and
all
binder.
grindings.
Yeah.
Right. And so when they go and build select truck,
You're gonna.
they're gonna fine tune some of the grades out there, grind it, and make sure everything pitches to the existing catch basins properly with the construction of the building. So they'll fine tune that pavement, but that's gonna be the limit of the finished pavement. They'll still have the grindings beyond the limit of where we show the cones and the Jersey barrier.
Okay. I'm all set.
Mr. Thomas?
My only question was about the one garage door on the elevation, so now I understand why there's only one garage door. That was my only question.
This is not a special permit, so unfortunately, Mr. Iliadi, I can't get.
That's fine.
It's a little sad, unless you want to do it as a public resident.
No.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard?
Well, welcome to hear his comments.
Doesn't appear that there's anyone else here. So I will, if there's no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing on the application for site plan approval, 3 Commerce Road.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have in front of us a draft decision. Any questions or comments relative to the draft decision?
Again, no waivers.
No waivers on this decision?
No, there were waivers.
There were 4 waivers about, like,
Lighting?
lighting.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
one
yes.
was, I can explain them probably really quick. One
Please
was
do.
not to provide drainage calculations because they were previously submitted for the administrative site plan review.
Yep.
The other one was the photometric plan. My understanding is lights have already, they're in them, is my understanding.
Yes, Selco has already provided perimeter lighting
Right.
on that lot.
The other
There
one,
will be some other lights
On the building.
on the building,
Landscape.
on the building.
not provide a landscape plan. Given the industrial nature of this, I kind of agreed with that. And also the slope to Route 20 doesn't make it hospitable to plant anything.
Yep.
A rocky slope. And then impact reports, I think the scale did not
No.
require that, so I recommended that as well. So
I agree with that.
if you want to, when you make your motion, say, as read by the,
Well, I'll just,
however you want to do it.
Steve's good at this.
all right. I move that we authorize the clerk to execute the decision entitled Decision of the Planning Board regarding the application for site plan approval, 3 Commerce Road, with all our conditions therein, as well as granting the waivers concerning the drainage calculations, the photometric plan, the landscape plan, and the impact report.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you all.
Great to see you too. Okay, that will do it for our public hearings for this evening. We have some business to attend to. We have a bond for 15 Fortune Boulevard. Mr.
Would you like a copy?
K, yes, please.
All right.
So, Mr. K, do you want to explain a little bit of what this is?
Yeah, this was 15 Fortune. We had the site plan modification for the addition on the building a couple months ago.
Okay.
So the checks come through and now they're moving on with the bond.
Okay, do you need me to read the value?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yes,
so this bond
bond.
is, bond for site plan modification, RH White Construction Company, 15 Fortune Boulevard, in the amount of $3,026.25. We have a motion.
I move that we approve the form of bond and amount of bond as just read by the chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our next item of business is to discuss and approve the 2022 Planning Board calendar. Anybody have any questions or comments relative to the Planning Board calendar for next year?
No, sir, I have no questions.
All set.
All set? Okay, so we don't have to vote this in, do we, or?
We typically have,
Okay.
just to vote to endorse the calendar, approve the
Give me
calendar.
a motion for that. Mr.
I
Wilbur?
move that we adopt this, our schedule for 2022 with the following dates. January 6th, Thursday, January 6th, Thursday, February 3rd, Thursday, March 3rd, Thursday, April 7th, Thursday, May 5th, Thursday, June 2nd, Thursday, July 7th, Thursday, August 4th, Thursday, September 1st, Thursday, October 6th, Thursday, November 3rd, Thursday, December 1st, and Thursday, January 5th, 2023, all with a filing date as reflected 3 weeks prior to the hearing date.
Approximately, yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Next item of business is to vote on a covenant release for 93 Suntech Boulevard.
Correct. So this is for lots 1 through 4 inclusive. This was at the behest of town council. There is a conveyance of land, I believe, to Selco, if I understood it correctly. What was discovered by town council was that there's an interpretation or understanding that the board perhaps years and years ago did not entirely release these lots from the covenant. So this is somewhat of a revote to make sure that absolutely for sure 110% these have been released. So I can hand this over to you. It's for lots 1 through 4 inclusive as well.
Is this one here?
Oh, do you have a copy of it?
I do.
Is
You're
this
gonna
for
need to
just,
sign this one anyway.
This
so-
one, yeah.
Bernie, is this for just a easements or a substation or something?
Yeah, it's for, yeah, Selco's gonna use the land.
So they're getting it for nothing?
I don't know the exact details of how that's working, the conveyance. I was not privy to that. I was just asked to bring this back. for
Okay,
a
because I'm on the
second vote.
board of the WBDC.
Okay,
But I assume that disclosing that, the WBDC, I don't recall this coming before my board to sell the lot, so I assume it's for nominal consideration, so I don't think I have a conflict.
okay. I'll double check with,
I don't think, I think
just to make sure.
Mr. Jerry is also on the board,
Okay, then I will double check.
but I think we're all set.
Yeah, for now, sign it, and if there's an issue, we'll bring
Yes.
it back next meeting and.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
We'll make a permit.
I move that we, to the extent we haven't before, we confirm and execute the document entitled Release of Subdivision Covenant, Shrewsbury Planning Board relative to the Suntech Park East Definitive Subdivision Plan, lots 1 through 7 inclusive.
1 through 4.
1 through 4 inclusive, excuse me.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and as you're wrapping up and signing that, I'd just say again to anyone still watching at home, thank you for watching this late. Secondly, please come to the Yuletide Market if you can, this Saturday, 4:45 is the lighting, and it kicks off at 5 o'clock, and then again on Tuesday, we have the Old Beale School. You can see the concept plans that's being presented by Civico Development, so please come.
Those events better be pretty good, because you're selling them pretty hard.
I'm doing what I can, Steve.
And I also would like to thank everyone that participated at home, watching along, and I wish you a safe and happy, healthy holiday season, and look forward to seeing you in the beginning of next year, so Merry Christmas. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we conclude this evening's public hearings.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.